黒土まゆり
やっとー
霧隠れ忍び刀七人衆の一人干し柿貴様以後お見知り。
Good morning, traders. Good morning. Welcome back to another live stream. If you are new, my name is Zach. This is Real Deal Futures. Before we jump onto the charts on this beautiful Monday, November 3rd, please make sure you read what's on the screen. Trading is very risky. Most traders do lose money. If you trade, you're probably going to lose all of your money. It's a silly thing to do. I'm not a financial advisor. I don't provide financial advice. Nothing I say or do is a suggestion or recommendation to do anything at all. Make sure you do your own research, make your own decisions. Read CFTC Rule 4.41 on simulated trading, which is what this is. Even if funded prop firm accounts, and the affiliate and partnership disclaimer that says I stand to make money from links and codes in my content, like Top 1 Futures, code RDF, Bookmap, and others. What's going on, chat? What's happening? What's happening, man? Happy November. Welcome to the show. What's going on, everybody? What is up, good people? Wolf, Streamer Hub, and I don't know. You guys got all these crazy names. Afternoon, bags. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are in the world. We will talk about order flow. No, you can't backtest. Order flow unless you screen record traditionally. We'll talk about that. JB, what's up? Glenn B, what's up? Daniel, what's up? Dwayne, what's up? What's going on, guys? What's going on? As always, I don't want to gloss over that to the person that asked about order flow. Ask trading questions in the chat, please. More than happy to give you guys my 2 cents, yap about whatever we need to yap about, and give me something to talk about. I want to do a little bit of market analysis as we get ready for the market to open up. It is 9:18 here, again, on this beautiful November 3rd. I had to ask ChatGPT this morning, which I like to do. How many days, I don't like to ask ChatGPT too many things, but how many days do we have left in the year? How many trading days do we have left in the year? I don't like to set goals. I don't like, with trading, I don't like to set time-based goals, but I don't like to not have a sense of urgency. I don't like to not have the drive and the desire and the urgency necessary to really make progress. And I like to know how many trading days we have left, because it's often much less than you think. We're under 40 trading days left in the year, with holidays coming up, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's. We have partial closes around the holidays themselves, so it's really even less than that, but it's like 30 some odd full trading days. That's it, man. If you're not focused up, if you're not locked in, if you're not studying the charts and making the time to make the most of what we have left, I hope that maybe helps. So let's go ahead and jump into some analysis here. We are opening up pretty balanced here. Pretty balanced. We could do a little bit higher time frame analysis just to get started, get comfortable for the week, right? Kind of just framing how I like to pay attention, what I like to take into consideration. We are here on the Project X platform with Top 1 Futures. This is my Top 1 Futures live account. Still live, still kicking, nice and healthy. Took a payout from it on Friday after catching a win after the live session. Something I did yap about in Discord. Did call out a little bit of it in Discord. But let's talk about this, right? We're zoomed out here. This is YM. This is the Dow Jones E-mini contract here in the futures market. If you don't know what the heck you're looking at, that's what this is. We have the 15-minute chart very, very zoomed out. As you can see, gnarly selling pressure, gnarly volatility on tariff talks on that China back and forth deal. We popped to the upside. Very, very bullish move of the last few weeks. Continuing to push all-time highs. A lot of volatility, right? Coming into the Fed decision, the Fed rate last week. But overall, pretty choppy, right? Here is Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, and Monday. Here's our gap up from that prior week, right? This is overall pretty choppy, right? We pushed to the upside. We cracked above it here on Wednesday. Came back in. This was very volatile back and forth. Much choppier here. I am very happy I kept myself out of this nonsense. I did catch a long on the way back up here for a break of high of day into power hour, which was not too likely to happen, but we did catch that. Overall, pretty choppy, man. Pretty choppy. We are definitely loving this. Let's call it, if I had to put a number on it, the 47,700s. Let's call it the 47,700s. We've been very balanced down here. You can see a lot of impulsive moves have started from here and then returned to this area. Multiple days volume point of control, right? We are looking at fixed range volume profiles here. The volume point of control is the area of highest volume, the area of highest volume traded for that specific trading day, or whatever the volume profile is anchored to. You can see the temporary volume point of control is sitting right there as well. When we zoom out here and get all of this week of data, even taking into consideration some of that right there. So opening up very balanced. Talking about the open here, Project X definitely had some issues overnight. They were not displaying something or displaying something incorrectly. My chart was cleared this morning. I had to completely set my chart back up, just so you guys know on my end. Here on Project X, I had no indicators. My price axis actually wasn't showing. I had to like adjust a couple things. But anyway, overall, opening up very balanced. Opening up right near that volume point of control. Overnight session, we popped to the upside. Looks like we did trade above prior day high, or yep, trade above prior day high by a couple ticks. And then we kind of sold off, came back down in. Overnight, London pre-market. We're opening up below VWAP. Looks like we're returning to it. But again, you know, a higher time frame picture, looking at all of last week's data, we're really hanging out right here. So relative to yesterday's volume profile, we are pretty close to that volume point of control. This is a pretty tight range for sure for a daily candle here on YM, under 400 points. We're gonna see. We're gonna have to see, right? This is a pretty basic setup for me, right? Opening up kind of in the middle ground, balanced. I don't love that we're right at VWAP. I'd prefer us to open up above VWAP, crack to the upside, and then I'd fade it back down, or open up below VWAP, crack to the downside, so I could fade it back up towards VWAP. If we pop right off the open, take a wild guess what I'm going to look to do, guys. I'm going to short it on a sweep of that prior day high, overnight session, Asia, London high, up here into the 47,000, 870s, 880s, right? And be looking short there. Wide stop loss, looking for a move back down to this area of high volume, right? We sell off really aggressively. Take a wild guess what I'm going to do. I'm going to long that bad boy, right? I'm probably going to long it on a sweep of prior day low. Overnight session low, right? Asia session low is too close. It doesn't really provide me any good opportunity to do anything, right? Maybe 100 points right back up to VWAP, but at that point, we're still right at this volume point of control, right? At this area of high volume, this temporary VPOC. So, you know, I'd need to wait for a sweep of this low down here, a trade back towards this Friday prior day volume point of control, right? Does that mean that we don't blast to the upside or blast to the downside? Absolutely not. You guys watched me get my face ripped off. I think it was Thursday last week. Yep. Got short right in here and got absolutely cooked. Just ripped to the upside and took me out for a full stop loss. That happens. It's going to happen plenty of times. Is it going to happen today? I don't know. And guess what? I really don't care. All I care about is watching the market, executing effectively. I'm not here to predict. I'm not here to hope that, you know, something happens or doesn't happen. That's a silly way to trade, right? I'm framing my trade idea right off the open. It's pretty basic for me. Again, not as clean if we were opening up already above VWAP and we had some room to the downside, or opening up below and had some room to the upside, but opening up balanced here. Maybe a little bit high because we already swept overnight session. We already swept prior day session Friday's high, right? And we're returning back to VWAP, so a little bit bullish. Higher time frame context, right? Overall bullish. If we zoom way out, we look at the U.S. indices, very bullish off these lows. You know, putting all-time highs in. Overall, higher time frame context, bullish, right? As we start to look at, you know, a little bit more medium time frame, take this into consideration, we're balancing, right? And we've put some lower highs in, right? And some lower lows in here. If we look at YM objectively, look at Wednesday, look at Thursday, look at Friday, right? Failing to get back above highs, continuing to break lows. That would indicate moderate time frame, right? You know, more medium time frame, looking at a couple days. Bearish, right? A little bit more bearish. Overall, as we zoom in here, pretty balanced, right? You can kind of make a case both ways. We went and cracked overnight session high. We went and cracked prior day high. Let me try to get this more correct here. In the overnight session, we sold back off, and now we're holding towards VWAP, right? We're opening up below VWAP, right? So immediate, like what are we looking at right here, right now, this minute? We're opening up below VWAP, or at least a couple minutes into NYSE open. We're getting ready for it. Near prior day volume point of control, near this big temporary volume point of control. So, you know, fairly balanced here, fairly balanced. Overall, markets remain incredibly strong. Dips are continuing to get bought up. You know, it's been pretty dang choppy here on YM. But I'm interested to see. I'm interested to see what happens into the end of the year, right? We got some more red folder news events that are coming out. We have one at 10 a.m. today. We'll take a look at that in just a minute. Do we get some selling pressure? Do we start to kind of get some relief from this huge rally that we've had? Are we going to just continue to blast through all-time highs? I try not to speculate on super duper high time frames, right? I really just focus up in between here, but we'll continue to take that higher time frame, much higher time frame view into context, right? Just framing a little bit of our decision making, or a little bit of our discretion, right? Based on what we've seen for pattern recognition historically, or when we're back testing, when the market's super strong, right? What often happens? Well, we continue the upside, right? For chopping around, what often happens? We continue chopping around. So that's the thought process, right? We're coming into the end of the year here, really, right? Markets traditionally, in my humble opinion, right? My humble, biased opinion, continue to move right into the close of the year. I don't find that that November or December is traditionally super duper slow moving. One thing I will note as we do come into the holiday season, and again, this is just my personal experience from watching the markets and trading multiple years all the way up until this time, I don't like the way the market moves right before, during, and after the major U.S. holidays. I find that it is very abnormal, more abnormal than it usually is, unpredictable, rapid changes in volatility, gaps, and I just don't like trading during the holidays and right around the holidays. I'm talking about like on the day, maybe like into the close the day before, or like a partial, a half day or something in between, right? Specifically around Thanksgiving, and then definitely in between Christmas and New Year's. I just think that is an absolutely terrible week to trade. I've been cooked before. I think it was 2 or 3 years ago. I can't remember which year it actually was, but I continued to just press my luck right into the end of the year. Of course, trying to make everything back, right? And, make big progress or whatever it was. And just got smoked. So I think you're better off spending those not so great trading days with your family and friends and yourself, and just, not forcing it into the end of the year. But that's my 2 cents, worth noting coming into November. I'm going to be here trading live with you guys almost every damn day. Hop in Discord. It's pinned to the top if you want the full schedule. This week, it's every day except for Friday. Traveling, going to be off Friday, Monday, and Tuesday coming up. Got a trip to the Caribbean. That's the game plan, man. So long as the hurricanes and everything down there hold off, plan to go down there, do some diving. So, anyway, about 15 seconds to the open. Trade well, my friends. Again, looking short above prior day high, looking long below prior day high. Going to watch what happens if we start to crack to the upside, if we start to crack to the downside. I'm not going to get in at a specific price level. If I wanted to do that right here, right now, I should have a limit order on my chart, right? Going to watch what happens in market structure, price action, volume as we start to trade. So here we are into the open, and I did talk about news, and then I'll read some of the chat, but you guys got the full yap fest here. We are opening up. Not going to do anything too crazy right into the open. Taking a look at financial news. This is forexfactory.com. You can look at whatever site you want. We have 10 a.m. ISM manufacturing PMI. I had somebody ask if these are actually going to go off with the government shutdown. It seems like they are. That everything was kind of postponed and tentative for a while, but it seems like these are going to be reported. So today, Monday, it is not a no news Monday. We got red folder news coming up here in about 30 minutes. A little bit tricky to trade through. We'll see. It's Monday. We don't have to force anything crazy. We're going to be here waiting for the market to come to us. Tuesday, November 4th, not a lot of anything. Wednesday, we got ADP, non-farm, 8:15. That's in pre-market. And then 10 a.m. again. Thursday, we don't have too much, but a lot of FOMC members. There's not too much we can do about that. Every once in a while, these guys kind of throw the market for a loop. Just checking on YM as we're opening up here. And then Friday, Friday NFP, right? It is showing tentative. I guess that means that maybe it's not going to be reported. But I did see that over the weekend, looking at the financial news calendar again, and thought, well, I don't mind taking off an NFP Friday. It's usually a pretty trash trading day, unless you love crazy high volume, volatile news events. But for today specifically, 10 a.m. coming up here in in about 28 minutes. We do have red folder news. Structure your trades, right? Decide how you want to handle red folder news and do whatever you're going to do day in and day out. Do it consistently. But chat, what's up, guys? Good morning. Good morning. Rhombus, what's up? Daily Tail, what's going on? Welcome to the show, guys. Welcome to the show. JB looking long. Nice, nice. Oh, wait. Yep, long. Nice. What's going on, guys? What's going on? Happy November. Still in the chop. Yeah, looking choppy overall here. Profit booking for the holidays. Just follow my strategy in the present. Taking trades without hesitation, reservations, access all the time. There you go. Yeah. That's a quote, by the way, guys. That's not my quote. You want to trade fearlessly without being reckless, and you want to execute without reservation or hesitation. That's the wise words of Mark Douglas, who was unfortunately passed away. Author of Trading in the Zone, The Disciplined Trader, and others. I subscribe to a lot of his philosophy around trading. I think so many traders do, which is why everyone knows that book, because it's a banger. But yeah, that's the way you want to trade. You want to be extremely confident. Here's the mindset that I try to come to. And it is a paradox. It's a paradox here. It's difficult. It's not as clear cut as other activities or professions. You have to come to the charts absurdly confident, extremely confident. Confident in your system, confident in your edge, confident in your approach, your abilities, right? You have to be ready to execute as soon as your trade sets up, as soon as your edge presents itself, without reservation or hesitation. There's no room for that at all, okay? And at the same time, you have to be humble in that you're only as good as your experience level. You're only going to be as good as the market is agreeing with your system for that day or that, month or week. You're going to have to continue to adapt and review and look at what's working and what's not working and change to continually ever-changing market conditions and just attempt to improve, right? Because there's no flip a switch and all of a sudden there's no more room for improvement. And when it comes to the market itself and the nature of probabilities, the random distribution that we're going to get of wins and losses for any given set of variables that define an edge, quote from Mark Douglas as well, one of his trading truths. You could tell I read the book multiple times. We have to hold that in conjunction, right? And here's the paradox, that even though we are extremely confident in our edge and our abilities, right, in our ability to make money in the market over a long series of trades, it is over a long series of trades, and we also don't know what's going to happen next. We have no idea whether this next trade that we put on is one of the winners or a losers. Nobody does. Whether you have a 20% win rate or an 80% win rate, you don't know if the next trade is going to be a winner or a loser. If you did, you would remortgage your house, sell your cars, take out loans, and place all of the money on that next trade, right? Why would you not do that? You don't, because we don't know what's going to happen next. So you have to stay flexible in that the market can prove you wrong. If you manage your trades with discretion the way I do, you have to be able to quickly be flexible and clip your losers, right? And take your losses on the chin and say, I was dead wrong, got my face ripped off, market just didn't agree with me, whatever it is, and then move on, calm, cool, collected, right down the middle, no tilt, no fear, no greed, no wanting to make it back, no wanting to beat the market, right? That's the challenge. And I think the best traders, not talking about myself when I say the best traders that I see, they have that paradox, that mindset, that psychology down, man. It is just in their core belief system. They are ready to trade big size, put a lot of risk on the line on every trade. And you can only do that if you're really confident in your trading. At the same time, they are very comfortable realizing a loss. They're happy to take a huge L on the chin and say, I was dead wrong. Completely wrong today. Market did not want anything to do with my trade, right? And it could just shot in the other direction, and they move on to the next trade. So, that's the that's the Mark Douglas, I think Tom Hogard. You know, I talk a lot about of these guys that write all the psychology books, the trading psychology books. That's the mindset. It's the mindset. It's why I am starkly opposed to a lot of the stuff that's talked about and taught in retail trading, right? These cult followings about reading the market and knowing what's going to happen next because you have some otherworldly understanding of some algorithm that, you know, is running, or, you know, and you know exactly what's going to happen to the tick, and there's no surprises, or there's nothing that, you know, is unexpected. It's a bunch of BS. It's not how this functions. I know why, you know, I know why people believe it, despite it being demonstrated to them day in and day out. You know, they want to be lied to. Everybody wants to be lied to, right? We want to be lied to, that this can be beaten, that we don't have to have that uncomfortable uncertainty, right? There's no way around that. There is just absolutely no way around that, in my humble opinion. So anyway, that's my humble opinion. And again, guys, I'll always preface it, right? I'll always grain of salt what I talk about. I can only talk from my level of experience and what seems to work well for me some of the time, right? I don't have it all figured out. I'm not the best trader. Far from it. I still make mistakes. I'm still learning. I still have plenty of goals that I am far from accomplishing, right? So please, grain of salt these things. Do your own research. Make your own decisions, right? You know, I definitely do not claim to have it all figured out, or to have some magic answer. This is just the mindset, the psychology, the approach that has generated some results for me that I am working with right now, right? And as I learn more, as I spend more time in the markets, I'm sure I'll develop even more, you know, thought processes around them. So again, guys, watching, that was a big yap fest on psychology and mindset. Good morning, Mark Douglas, the greatest. Yeah, Mark Douglas, awesome. This is my don't add shares into a lost month. There you go. Yep. No adding to losers. We're not doing that. Yo, Purple Ninja, what's happening? Love that there's also an options discussion. Not in my Discord, brother. Options? Or opinions? Uncertainty is always there. Just have to deal with it. Absolutely. Appreciate all the likes and the hundreds and all that fun stuff. Whoever's smashing that button. Appreciate you guys. Smash the like button. Smash subscribe. Do whatever you want to do. Don't do whatever you want to do. We'll be here free, man. Appreciate everybody hopping on. We got more and more people hopping on, man. The stream is growing. The stream is strong, man. Strong. Appreciate you guys being here every day. I really do. Getting ready to say, watching this market sell off below this overnight low level, right? I hope this data is correct. I believe it is. I have to confirm, taking a look at what we had on TradingView, because Project X is a little bit dicey this morning. But here's our overnight low level, right? Right in, excuse me. Here's our overnight low level, right? Right in here. So we're trading down below overnight low. Oh, no, excuse me. This was our overnight low level right in here. Trading down below overnight low. Do we get a sweep here? Like I said, you know, this is overall valid. I do pay attention to overnight session lows, right? Asia, London lows. We cracked right back at the VWAP, and we're pushing the downside. I definitely wouldn't mind this long, but for me, it's going to be below prior day low, right? Why? Overnight session low, key area to look at, right? Prior day session low for me, key area to look at, right? You know, last week's low, definitely a key area to look at. Maybe even right down below into like the 460s, 450s, 460s, 470s, right? If we want to come lower, I think that's an area that we could be challenged by some buyers. We could see a pullback up to this volume point of control, this reversion, you know, trade that I'm looking for. It would provide me a much better way to structure risk, right? To say, well, if we come down here and we don't bounce, I'm dead wrong. And I think we're just going to knife lower, and we're going to open up to the downside this week. You know, we're not going to come right back up to this area of high volume. If I took it here, like immediately here, well, first off, that's what I'm trading for. So it's much less of an opportunity, right? You know, for maybe even a sweep of a high. It's much less of an area that I'm trading for. And where does my stop loss go? right below this low, right? Right down here. Well, I don't really like that. I think we could easily do that, okay? I still think we could also easily do this. But at very least, I don't really get proven wrong until I'm dead wrong. If I pull something like this, and, you know, this is just the way that I view the markets. If I pull something like this, I think we could easily do this, and it's a long play, and I was just too aggressive with it, right? So we might turn from right here, right? Who knows if we come all the way down and give me an opportunity. But this, you know, this is not a good trading opportunity for me just yet. Right? We come down here. I maybe take it long, something like this, right? Let's look at some straight trade structure. Maybe not 300-point stop loss. Maybe something closer to that. Yeah, something closer to that. Like even we come down below these lows, I would still be alive, right? Provide a nicer risk to reward. Maybe right back up to VWAP. Where is our VWAP? Right now, where it's currently sitting, you know, somewhere back up here. And if I'm wrong on this, I am really wrong, right? Like I'm dead wrong. We are, you know, we come down through the like 250s. You know, this was a gnarly push to the downside, and I think if we start to do that, we do got these highs in here. This is dicey. Yeah, if we start to do that, I was gonna say where are we headed lower, somewhere down into the meat of this high volume. That would be really a really aggressive move, but we could just come back and tap these highs. That would be pretty close to my stop loss. But at that point, we would have moved significantly lower, you know, another few hundred points lower. So I would really be on the wrong side of the market anyway. So anyway, looking down into, yeah, let's say the 450s. Let's say the 450s for a potential long play back up to VWAP. Really could find buyers in here, right? This is kind of the low end of this volume profile. You can see, you know, the multiple lows that were put in before pushes to the upside, you know, during trading sessions. This is a lot of consolidation from Friday before we sold off lower. Could absolutely snap right back up here. But I think this is a decision-making point. We're either going to come right back up and not generate a trade for me, or we're going to aggressively come lower, trade below this low here into the 450s area and maybe give me a shot at a long. I don't like the risk structure from here, but I am acknowledging that we could snap right back up 200 points from here. You know, 150, 200 points. Nothing wrong with that. Put a, you know, a higher low in, right? Not break Friday's low, and then maybe turn back up to the upside. All right? Nothing crazy there. About 15 minutes to red folder news, which I will note, only other thing before I come off this analysis, what I'm looking at. 15 minutes to red folder news, that could be dicey. You know, if we pull back up to VWAP, just to frame this longer, right? If we pull back up to VWAP and then come lower, this trade doesn't look good. I don't want it long here, right? Why? Then we're just continuing this break and retest structure to the downside, and sellers are just continuing to drive lower. I want it on the first rejection, right? You know, the sell-off that I'm going to fade right back up towards VWAP. So news is going to come out. That's where I was going with this. We could crack right down here on news, which would be maybe a case where I do trade right into news, right, in the next 15 minutes here. If we push right up to the upside, maybe I catch a fade above prior day high. I also don't like that as much because then we're proving that we took out liquidity to the downside, right? Took everybody out that was holding long, and now we're pushing higher. If we come down here right before news, this also would be a case where I'd probably trade into it, right? This is not a crazy... this just comes from experience in the markets, right? You know, what you would identify as higher impact versus, you know, not as high impact. Even though these are all marked red, ISM manufacturing PMI is traditionally less volatile than FOMC or NFP, right? You know, unemployment or like CPI, for example. You know, there's certain ones that are going to be really watched, really volatile, and other ones that are still run the risk of being very volatile, but just are traditionally not as volatile. If you want to shortcut some of that experience, you can backtest, right? You can look up when the last FOMC was and go back and look at it. Look at the one before that, the one before that, and then go look at NFP, and then go look at ISM manufacturing PMI, right? You know, that's how you get a feel for these things. So overall, that's what I'm looking at. as we're starting to move. Not a terribly quiet open here. Not a terribly quiet open. We're moving. Overall, so far, very tight range. We got plenty of room to move to the upside and downside. As far as a average session range goes, or average daily range goes, we got plenty of room to move to the downside if we want to start selling off, or to the upside if we want to pop back up. Little bit, take that into a little bit of consideration. You know, if we come lower, it might not just be right there. It might be, you know, much deeper down. But we're going to have to see. See what we could do in this Top 1 Futures live account. See if we can't keep the show rolling. I'm going to probably, my game plan is to start to scale this thing eventually. I've said that, but I've continued to just take payouts from it. Excuse me. Let's see. Psychology Yap Fest. Exactly how I want to start my trading. Good luck, Zach. Yeah, yo, guys, like, I listen, I like to remind myself. I really try to study this stuff because I don't think it comes super naturally. Definitely doesn't come super naturally for me. The psychology, the mindset, right? So I never have a better start to my day, and I don't always do this. It's not the, you know, not the exact norm. But if I go on a run or I go work out and I listen to Trading the Zone, or, you know, Best Loser Wins, or Mental Game of Trading or something, right? I'm replaying a trading book, one of the Market Wizards book. You know, it's not because it's some groundbreaking new information, but it's a reminder. It's a reminder of what we're up against. It's a reminder of the real game that we're playing, you know, because we get so zoomed in on the next trade, on trying to make money, on focusing on some weird thing that somebody's saying, some talking head, and, you know, oh, the market's going to sell off because of XYZ. All of a sudden you start creating this bearish bias. You try to start, you know, pushing it for today, right? And I think it's really important to maintain that difficult to cultivate mindset, the trader's mindset. Cook Smith, what's up? By the way, Zach, since you mentioned traders should not, why is it? It seems controversial. I seem to hear split opinions on this. Yeah, Rhombus. So here's my thought. I repeated what somebody had commented, so I don't want to say that traders should not add to losing trades, because I hold an extremely flexible and broad view of what can be done in these markets successfully. And I'm of the belief that there is an infinite number of ways to trade, and what works for me is not going to work for everybody. What primarily doesn't work for most traders could definitely work for somebody out there. So I don't like to draw any super hard lines like that. In general, from what I've seen, my experience, adding to losing trades, as in you enter a trade and you continue to average down, specifically for intraday trading, because we're not talking about dollar cost averaging and investment holdings or anything like that, which seems to work much more frequently for traders, right? For investors. But adding to losing trades and continuing to average down, for the most part, is a death sentence from what I've seen. It's also what feels good. It's our logical human brain, which we tend to find is hardwired the wrong way. The vast majority of traders find it way easier to add to losing trades, and the vast majority is losing money. The vast majority of those, right? You are continuing to put more risk on as the market is proving you incorrect, right? Also, the crowd that often does that, what the results show, right? And traders talk about this, guys that are at firms and, you know, the back end, traders that average down often continue to take on more and more and more risk with the goal of only closing at break even, right? So it's a really gnarly one to make work. It's not to say that it's not out there and that people haven't done it successfully and they don't do it successfully. I think if you're going to go down that road, you should be super experienced already. And the only way I really see it done is when it's pre-planned. As in, I'm going to buy here, right? Like it would be pre-planned like this. I'm going to buy here for a move back to VWAP, right? And my initial stop is going to be here. I still think we could come lower. So I'm going to double my position size right here. And if we come here, I'm going to accept the increased amount of risk. I'm going to hold my stop loss, and I'm still going to hold this for a winner, right? You know, something along those lines. Something along those lines. Conversely, asking about adding to winning trades. I don't find that to be controversial. I think it's the most difficult thing to do, one of the most difficult trade management systems, but it can be extremely effective if done correctly. Why? It's the opposite of what most traders do. It's the hardest thing to do, right? And rather closing out the trade and accepting the win and, securing your profit, you're adding more risk, right? You're continuing to hold and amplify that winner. I also do think it needs to be pre-planned. It needs to be done strategically because you are inherently taking on more risk with your contract size. There's a lot of different ways you can add into winners. I've done it a lot in the past. It's not something that I'm doing here. First off, I'm all in, all out right now on 1 mini, which is the contract size for this live account. But I've done it a lot in the past. It's something that really helped me flip my horrible trade management on its head. And the way that I liked to do it was adding in as price moved in my direction and then controlling risk by dragging your stop loss up. Now, there's a double-edged sword, and even that should really be reserved for everybody but the most advanced traders. Watching this market come lower, guys, and what did I say? Still looking long. I'll run this one into news if we start to sell off. But I'm going to be looking long down around the 450s. Down below prior day low by a few points. It's got to be pre-planned, and there's a double-edged sword to doing that as well, right? If you continue to add into a winning trade, you are now, your average entry price is getting worse and worse and worse. You are taking on more risk. If you're not taking on more risk, you are tightening up on that stop loss. Your invalidation point is creeping closer and closer to current price and is more likely to stop you out. It just depends on your style, your abilities, your perception of the market. I think most traders would do significantly better never adding to losers, and if they were going to add to anything, add to winners. But, that's just, very broad. So I think it comes down to you as an individual. To start, where most traders are probably beginners, or they're not making money, or they're not really getting anything to work too well, you should be fixed, take profit, fixed stop loss, don't touch the trade. You can't handle it. Most people cannot handle it at all. It's very difficult, and I can't handle it some days. Once the trade's on and the P&L's flashing, to continue to make, especially discretionary trade management decisions is incredibly difficult to do. And most are better off not touching the trade at all and allowing the market to just move. I think once you get more advanced and you notice in your data, hey, once this happens, oftentimes this happens, fixed and pre-planned consistent trade management adjustments, right? Scaling out at a certain level, adding in at a certain level, moving stop to break even at a certain level, right? Pre-planned. Then as you get more advanced, more and more discretion, more and more freedom. Here we go, guys. Coming down towards prior day low, right into news, man. I'm going to look for the 50s, right down to this area of high volume, down below prior day low by, 30, 40 points for a long back up towards VWAP. That's what I'm looking for here, guys. We do have news coming in about 5 minutes, though. Very important to note. Important to note. I like this long, guys. I'm just waiting for a little bit more of a crackdown. This news is the huff and puffing and the head back. I would really prefer not to trade immediately during it. Again, my level of interest as we come lower like this is very aggressively long, right into the 450s. I'm not going to set a limit order, but I got a feeling we could easily do this during news, like right really aggressively, and it might not give me a shot to enter. You could throw a limit order there, but I think that's a really heavy risk to run a limit order anywhere into red folder news. You know, there's an off chance that it comes in well below. You end up with a terrible fill and an immediate stop out. So I'm going to wait on this, but this is going to be an aggressive one. If we sell off through it, again, just pre-planning, right? If we sell off through this, right into news, I'm going to take it. I'm likely going to take it for a reversion right back up here. Yeah, we could see a gnarly dip right down here. Could come right through this high volume node to this area here where my stop is, but I'm gonna give this a second through news. If we crack right back up to the upside, it's unfortunately moving without me. Not technically a missed trade, because if it was a trade, I want to be in it. All right. Yeah, we're gonna do it right into news by the minute. Less than 2 minutes, guys, to red folder news. And I know we got more questions in the chat. I'll be talking with you in a minute. Let's see what the market's got for us here today. Yeah, guys, about 60 seconds to red folder news. You trade a cash account as well? Yes, Pam, I do trade a cash account as well. Trade a live futures cash account. I trade multiple prop firm accounts. This is a live prop firm account. Then I also have, which I don't really talk about too much because we're not primarily talking about stonks here. We're talking about futures. Multiple investment brokerage accounts, right? Ranging from the super duper long-term, Roth style, retirement fund to more aggressive swing plays, looking for the next tech stock banger, and a whole bunch of other, different stuff in there, right? T-bills and some good capital management. So here we go, guys. Liquidity coming off the book. You can see it getting super dark here. 10 seconds. It's always fun to look at Bookmap right before a red folder news event. You can take a look at all the algos getting shut off. It gets really dark. Here we go. That's looking pretty wiggly right here, guys. Again, I'm super zoomed out on the 15-minute watching this. It's a dicey play to take this long if we crack right here to the downside. I'm considering it. I'm really considering it. Just staying locked in here. Yeah, below the 50s. Below the 50s. Because we either pop right back up, right? We either take out this low, pop back up and come back to this area, or we dump. Here we go, trading lower. Yeah, this could be dicey, man. This could be the move lower. This could be all we want to do today. Take out this high and then put a big candle into the downside. I'm sitting patient down below, prior day low here. Like I said, looking towards those 450s. Towards those 450s for a really aggressive long on this. Not really aggressive, just aggressive. Yeah, I'm sitting patient on this, guys. We got a sweep of prior day low. Let's see if that's all we do. Obviously, we got some buyers that came in right there. We got really wicky right below that low. Starting to catch a little bit of a bid here. We traded right towards the, what did we trade? The low here. Traded the 470s. About 20 points from where I was looking. Really right into Friday's volume point of control. This high volume node. We came close. But not quite there for me. Again, if I'm going to be aggressive, I want to be really aggressive, meaning I want it to come way down. I want my stop loss to be super wide, and I want to really be buying into the low. You know, this would be potential to buy into some buyers showing up, just a little bit of a reaction right here. I'm not going to take that. Again, it's Monday, right? We don't need to do anything crazy. Coming off a good week, coming off a good month. Waiting for my setup. Said the same number almost 450 times, but was looking for the 450s. Let's see. Let's see what this Marcus got for us. Chat. Appreciate you guys. See, my experience lines with yours on buying into the loser. Just articulate it in a way that finally clicked. November will be proof of the concept. Yep. Good morning, Money Magnet. What's going on? Good morning, guys and girls. What's happening? Yes, just filled overnight gap. What news? What did we say this was? ISM manufacturing PMI. That was the news. ISM manufacturing PMI. W rhombus. Nice. JB rock. Nice. Guys are looking long from here. Send it. Do your thing. Yeah, again, I'm still liking it. We didn't go back up, test VWAP like I said. We didn't come all the way back up and then come back down. This is getting a little bit late into the morning for when I like this really aggressive reversion trade, man. So I'm gonna watch what happens as we come lower. No short play right off of VWAP for me on this one, like immediately off the open. That's the big opportunity so far today. So we're gonna have to see what happens if we start to come lower. Reading a couple messages here, chat. Let's see what happens. See what happens as we come lower. If we continue to come lower, I'm debating this level here. I will acknowledge this, guys. The way this higher time frame structure looks, if we really start to sell off at a certain point, if we don't just dip our toes down here and then come right back in, if we really start to sell off across all of these US indices, it could get pretty ugly. Like it could get really ugly, right? Obviously, we've been pushed in the upside for so dang long. Downside potential could definitely be there as well. I don't think trying to catch the top this entire time would have gone well for you, right? I'm talking about over the last couple months as we've pushed up, and especially the last couple weeks. But if we continue to break lows here, right? Break daily candle lows, you know, if we don't just do this, right, come right back up, or this, come right back up after breaking a low, and we start to get some continuation, sellers step in, it gets pretty ugly pretty quickly. There's a saying that goes, markets take the stairs up and the escalator down, or the stairs up and the elevator down, and it's referring to how rapid the sell-offs are in the market, especially in the U.S. indices. Hanging out here, obviously key level on the chart, right? Pretty important. We traded below this low by just about 15 points, 15 ticks here on YM. Buyers don't want to give it up just yet. Man, this is an interesting one. There's a really aggressive long from in here with a super duper tight stop loss that says that's all we're doing. I'm buying into strength here, stop below right here. I'm sure plenty of people are going to be taking that trade. You know, looking for the sweep, waiting for some, you know, waiting for this, right? Waiting for a fight to be put up and say, I'm going to go stop loss just below this, allow for one more dip down here, but I think we're headed right back up towards VWAP. It's not my play here. It's not my play. But I'm going to wait patient. See if my, my area of interest gets tapped. What happens if we tap that? ES looking like it wants to put up a fight here as well. NQ, what did NQ do today? I thought NQ was looking much stronger, forming a bullish candle. Yeah, NQ finally getting below VWAP here. NQ was sitting at VWAP right into the open. Yeah, that might be it, huh? That might be it. No 450s. Might be really close. I'll be happy to watch it. Honestly, I'm happy to not be in a trade if it's extremely close to what I wanted to see play out, and you know I missed the trade by a couple points. It often can get frustrating, but the longer I go, the more I'm happy when I say, oh well, that was the overall move. I was extremely close. On another day, you know, we wick down to the 25s. I'm in, and we pull right back up. Discretion, if you could want to enter on the way back up, right, for something like this after a sweep of the low. I just don't like having a stop like right here. Not going to be it for me, man. If we pop right back up, that's going to be the movement. That's going to be the movement that I was waiting on, but that we might just not hit my level, not hit my area of interest. And if I'm jumping in ahead of that every time, kind of like I did right in here on Thursday after some review, was just too aggressive jumping in here, maybe I don't survive the crazy wick down that we get, and you know, I'm chasing it back up. I take the stop, and you know, we have that frustrating deal where instead of entering where you were supposed to enter, right, which might be here today, just talking about trade entries, stops, and targets, right? Maybe here's my structure. Instead of waiting for that to happen, I take this, right? We come down. This is one of the most frustrating things that can happen. We come down. We hit my area, right? We come into the 450s. We stop me out, and then come all the way back up, right? And had I just waited for my 450s, right, to be tapped, I would have survived that crazy pullback that stops me out when I'm chasing all the way up here. That's one of the most incredibly frustrating things that, to me personally, that happens in trading. When you step outside of what the heck you're waiting for, right? Step outside of your approach, pull something crazy, exercise a little bit too much discretion. You get the overall trade right, but because you entered like an idiot, it stops you out, and then it rips in your direction. Oof. That's enough to send you, man. That's enough to send you. Let's see. Yeah, man. We really did not want to give up that low. We swept it. We came right back up. I mean, Bookmap looking pretty strong on this. Nice jump in cumulative volume delta. Obvious area of liquidity, right? Down below a prior day low, down below a weekly low. That's why I want this bad boy long, but I needed my level, needed my area, right? Or at least right around my area. We got valid down here, but just dipped our toe in here. Just dipped below it, right? Not quite enough for me. Wanted a little bit more of a push, and I'm gonna have to watch. I'm gonna have to watch this one. Not done yet though. Still close. Let's see. Big buyer stepped on gas on YM. Could be reversal. Yeah, absolutely could be. Listening to you talk through this is awesomely helpful. Awesome. I appreciate that. Try to talk through and articulate my trading decisions, right? What what I'm looking for, how I'm attempting to approach the market. Hopefully that's helpful. Zach knows change YM. When and why the change? Yeah, I traded. Well, I talk about this a lot, so I don't want to repeat it too many times, Mr. Rick. But I traded US 30 as a CFD in the CFD and Forex market on Forex prop firms. Before I came over to futures, I had quite a bit of experience on Dow. I traded a lot live, even as YM. I really stemmed from just underperformance on ES, and the actual first trading on YM was coming from a desire to trade multiple different prop firm accounts with the same firm here at Top One, and not wanting to get my trades crossed up. So I was running pre-market trades on YM, maybe earlier in the day trades on YM, and then trading ES during the open with you guys. Had initially great results. Did some more testing, trading in live accounts on YM, and it was one of those deals where if something's working really well, I'm going to try to capitalize on that. And for some reason, YM, as of recent, has been working really well for me. Really well. ES, I still love ES. I still like it. Whether it's market conditions, me, whatever, just an underperformance, coming into the... I've been on YM now last few weeks here, or last few months. I don't know how long I've been on YM. But yeah, coming into the tail end of that, just not really enjoying trading ES as much off the open. Now, they're both US indices. I don't think it's as big of a jump as something like, going to like gold or crude oil. But they are definitely different. Definitely different. I trade them, the approach is overall like, 1,000-foot view is similar, right? But it's different on a more zoomed in view. Watching this market come lower, coming to test this low. Again, I'm watching this really zoomed out here on the 15-minute chart. I'm usually not this zoomed out, although I do like to watch the 15-minute chart. But I really want to maintain a higher time frame view of this. I'm still gonna look at this thing long, man. Still gonna look at this long. And if I have to take the stop out on a sell-off, I will, but I want it 30 points lower, into those 450s. I think we could see one more dip down here and then a pop right back up. Bookmap not looking too bad on YM as well. Market conditions are tricky today, staying out. Yeah, listen, if you start to feel that, nothing wrong with just with staying out. Use my practice account to backtest short. Eyeballing long on real money. Let's see. Nice. Trader Pierre, what's up? What's going on? Long 5 micros is going to add if it breaks above. Nice. JB getting long and looking to add in profit. Here we go. A little bit of a breakdown here, guys. Let's see. Do we just start to dump coming into the 50s? I'm going to watch this, right? If I wanted to just be in, a limit order would be appropriate. Now we got into my level. Let's see what happens right down here. Do we just start to dump? Yeah, man. I'm going to stay patient. This is valid now for me, guys. I'm here, but I'm going to exercise some discretion and either wait for a little bit more of a dip lower or hold on this. This is looking somewhat aggressive down here into the 30s. Yeah, I mean, we either hold this level We either hold up the 400s, or if we start to give up the 400s here, I think we're going way lower. This is aggressive, guys. This is aggressive. Here comes the discretion, right? We give this up. It's gonna be a knife. It's gonna be a knife lower. Looking long, just staying patient here. I'm trying it, guys. This is really aggressive. Really aggressive. If we give this up, it's going to be a knife lower. I'm going to get my face ripped off, which we might do right here. I want to see a rejection from right in here and a bounce. Very aggressive, right? Very aggressive. I'll always note when I'm taking a trade, very counter to the immediate price movement, and this is one of those. I really want to see a bounce right in here. And if we get one, I may look to manage this pretty quickly. But we got decision-making time here. Coming down through volume point of control from Friday. I'm long for my area, right? Same area, same level that I've been watching all day. Waited patient. Didn't chase it back up here. If I had to take the stop on this one, I take my stop in stride. Sorry, I'm just adjusting my stop loss here. But I'm long from 445. Stop at 47, 248. Let me adjust that a little bit. I'm gonna go right below $1,000 with this one. Just under 200 points here on YM. Let's make it 990 at 247. 247. That's my play, chat. That's my play. Waited patiently for my level to get hit. Waited for just a little bit of a hesitation there. Seeing if we can't catch a bounce from below prior day low here. We're fixing to find out. But again, aggressive, right? Very aggressive. Counter to this daily movement. We are down below VWAP, selling off, putting low of the day in, and I'm buying it. Okay? I recognize when I take trades like this that oftentimes as we're pushing higher, right? Like we did on Thursday, I stand in an aggressive face ripper, right? They happen. That's part of it. So, let's see. To the upside, I have to see what happens. If we start to bounce, again, guys, I might look to manage this one fairly quickly. If we don't start to bounce here, I think it's going to be a knife. I think it's going to be a really aggressive knife lower if we don't start to bounce, which is not going to give me room to manage, right? Kind of like Thursday, when you enter really aggressively, the other downside of a cheap trade is you often don't have a lot of time to say, well, this is not working out. It's either not going to work out by taking you out for the full stop, or it's going to bounce, right? There's not really much in between. But let's see what we get. We got a trade on. I like getting trades on with you guys here. Looks like we want to go and dip our toe into the 400s. Going to give up these 450s. Yeah, again, decision-making time, man. If we come way lower, yeah, we come way lower. We could go all the way down into the 200s, but if we start to give up these 400s, that's gonna look pretty gnarly to the downside. Let's see. Big Bear stepped on the gas on YM. Could be reversal. Yeah, we were always talking about that. Fed speaker on. We got a Fed speaker on? Is it a major player? FOMC member daily speaks. That's what I got. That's what I'm showing on this. But let's see, financial juice. Yeah, those guys could send the market, at any point. Really, at any point. For how long do you backtest your strategies? Do you look too far back or only test recent months? So I think backtesting is really helpful up front. Be frosty, like when you're a complete beginner. I think once you have demonstrated you have some form of an edge through you know, old time frame, recent time frame, recent months, old months, all over the place. Starting to trade on demo in live market conditions is much better than backtesting. And then trading with risk on, even a very, very small amount, is much better than trading just completely on demo. But backtesting is helpful, I think, for just development as a whole early on and confidence building. And then also as a warm-up. Like, I like to backtest my approach just randomly, like as a warm-up, kind of like if you were you know, headed to a running event, you were just going to shake out your legs and then stretch, or if you were you know, professional basketball player, you're going to shoot free throws and just kind of, you know, shoot around for, you know, 30 minutes before the game. But I don't think sitting on trading view charts and backtesting for forever and ever and ever, unless you're really early on and you're still trying to kind of work out the kinks of an approach, is super helpful. But yeah, across all different market conditions is important, right? Because if you only backtest the last month or two, you might be you're going to be backtesting in a super bullish, you know, ripping uptrend, right? If you know, are backtesting during, you know, years ago, it's going to be a gnarly, you know, downtrend. So got to go across different times. Macro time, what's up? Muhammad, what's up? Long now, nice. Kim ZE, morning. Appreciate it. Yeah, for sure. Start on backtesting, right? And demo, and then you kind of build from there. But I think a lot of manual traders' edge, and again, this is just my opinion, a lot of manual traders' edge is going to come from experience trading. It's going to come from discretion in the markets and intuition and pattern recognition, and you only build that by doing the damn thing, you know? Now, do it with a very low amount of risk on the line. I think that's important. You know, keep it stupidly low, but you got to do the damn thing at some point. Kobe Clark, what's up? Morning. Chrono Ember, what's up? Life's treating me good. Man. Snagged along from 47, 652. Gonna hold it through open. That one didn't play too nice with you, Kobe. Holding long through open, but part of it. We'll see if my long plays nice with me down here. So far, it's not. Coming down through the 400s here. Opportunity to clip that we didn't get a bounce right here. I'm going to hold on to this as I usually do. Like I said, if we start to break, I think we could knife lower. Think we could really knife lower. But waited for my approach, right? Taking my trade like we talked about without reservation or hesitation. I think on another day, I'm already in hella profit, ripping back towards VWAP. We come right back through the highs. We continue this very choppy back and forth movement on YM that we've had so far. Today, we might not get that. Today, it looks like we want to sell off. It looks like we might want to form a really gnarly down day. Wanted to catch this right into the right into filling that gap down below prior week low. Yeah, the next area, man, I'd say the next area for potential survival, like 330s, 320s. It's the top of these highs right here. Next area for potential survival, if we found buyers right in here, we start to push through that. I think that's gonna be lights out for me. Let's see if we got to start the month off with an L, man. Let's see what we got to do. Appreciate it. Oh, appreciate it. True. Steamer Hub with the thing. Consistency is key. Nice. Zach versus into my hands. Everything seems 50-50 right now for me. Yeah. If it's just not playing nice with you, if you're not getting a good feel for it, nothing wrong with sitting on your hands. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Sat on my hands all of Friday through hella chop. Yeah, this thing is going, man. This is going, and unfortunately, it looks like the knife. Here we go into these 320s, right? 330s, 320s. Last ditch for some potential buyers to show up at some higher time frame highs really aggressively, but it don't look good. Volume continuing to fill to the downside. Sellers obviously pushing this thing lower. Buyers not showing up. We don't want to come back to that area of high volume just yet. We want to dip right outside of it, and we might be done. Like, that might be it, right? We might be headed lower. This might be the start of that higher time frame move. I liked it. I still like it for the move right back in, right? That's why I'm still long, but not playing nice with me at all. No rejection. No, really no buyers showing up whatsoever. No buyers showing up whatsoever. Little bit of that dance around here after cracking this low, but no buyers showing up on YM here. Super aggressive move to the downside. Acknowledge that one on the front end, right? Very aggressively counter. Often generates a really nice impulsive move back up. Or a rip your face off move to the downside, which looks like I'm going to get today. Looks like I'm going to get today. Blew my one and only funded. That sucks, Lee. That sucks. Sorry to hear that, brother. Part of the game. Part of the game. If you did not want to blow it today, you did not want to have the risk on, and something went completely sideways, I would ask yourself what happened. I'd ask yourself, you know, how you can prevent that for next time. No trades. Did not expect this sell-off. Short some overnight low to yesterday's low. We're good. Don't miss that train. Yep. I feel that, man. Gnarly, man. Gnarly. Gnarly push lower. I'm hanging on to this one. It's going to be the full stop or skin of my teeth turn, but I'm hanging on to this one for now. Opportunity to clip it right on the way down at a certain point. For me, when a trade moves like this, and a lot of people, you know, ask, well, why don't you do this? Why don't you do X, Y, Z, right? You know, why didn't you clip it here or here or here? You know, if it's going to come down. You don't know it until after the fact, right? It's always easy to go back and say, you know, let me take a look at how I could have managed these ones better. I will note that I do run a wide stop, and it does save me quite a bit. I've had a couple face rippers. I've had a couple that have just rocketed lower, and it's coming into that point where I'm going to start reviewing. Had I run, let's say, half of the stop that I ran, right? 100-point stop instead of a 200-point stop. How many trades would have stopped me out and then continued all the way back through my entry and into profit versus how many trades would have stopped me out and then continued all the way to a full stop out? Because I'm getting a couple of these that I'm really dead wrong on, where a tighter stop would just save half a unit of risk or maybe give me a second shot. But not enough to do anything extremely different just yet. When market conditions are rigid, I'm really trying not to trade in those days because it's where I lose it. Yeah, man, for sure, for sure. Friday, for example, Halloween on YM here, super duper choppy, super duper choppy. I tried to keep myself out of stuff like this when we're just back and forth for hours at a time. I found myself involved in stuff like this where we're shooting prior day low, but just not today. Catching the W, man. This looks like lights out. No buyers showing up into the 320s, 330s like I was looking at. We're breaking below initial balance low. Very unlikely that we just turn right back around and trade through this high. Again, trade management just going to allow the trade to do whatever it wants to do. No early clip for me on this one, but gnarly push to the downside out of YM. Really out of all of these. All the US indices started to roll over. ES, let's see. ES not below prior day low just yet. NQ still green on the day, but coming down to sweep its session lows here. Overnight session lows. YM, the most aggressive to the downside, about 1% red on the day. About 1% red on the day. But moving in unison across these. Part of it, man. Part of it. Looks like it might be the stop for me. part of showing it all live, man. Wins, losses, break evens, knife lowers, knife lower through my stop outs, which might be what we see today. Short NQ, handoff, VWAP bounce. Nice. Yeah, like I said, guys, I'm not touching this thing. You know, $200 worth of risk left on the line here, near the stop out. Not really trying to find some buyers here. Not really catching a bounce anywhere off this thing. If we start to rip up through my entry, that'd be pretty sweet. Not a lot of faith in that at all, right? You know, much more likely to get stopped out now that we're within a couple points of it. But I'll be right back. Oh, there we go. How we doing, chat? Still alive by the skin of our teeth, but it don't look good. Don't look good. Let's see. Let's see if we catch a little bit of a bounce down here, maybe. If we do, it would be a really bad spot to have a stop loss right below the low. That's a terrible spot to end up with a stop loss, but you can't pre-plan how far the market's going to sell off. Let's see. This looks like we just want to rip my face off here, but still in by the skin of my teeth. I don't think the wide stop loss really saves me today. In fact, on this one, I just think it costs me. Let's see. Appreciate you guys being here. As always, we're here live 9:15 a.m. Eastern every damn day. See you guys talk about duck races, giveaways. We do run giveaways oftentimes on these live streams. Random days, random times. They're almost every day. Almost every day. Took a short on. Oh, we talked about that. Nice. Very nice. Definitely make me feel better. Nice. Another respect for the transparency. Yeah, man. I mean, like, I appreciate you saying that, man. But this is what trading looks like for me, right? So if I wasn't showing you guys this, I would just be being disingenuous, right? I just wouldn't be sharing what trading actually looks like for me and for, you know, a lot of traders, where you're inevitably going to take an L. You know, I don't know anybody that trades with a 100% win rate, right? And if you're going to trade live, you're going to watch what that person's trading looks like play out live, right? For me, it's L's sometimes, right? Sometimes it's back-to-back L's, you know, multiple in a row, right? Actually, that's normal. That's oftentimes normal. I don't have a particularly high win rate that keeps me out of losing streaks altogether. I don't think most people do. So that's part of it, man. I appreciate you saying it, but this, not losing trades all the time, but you should expect to see transparency from, you know, anybody that you're going to watch. You know, you got to show it, show it all or don't show it at all. So let's see. Let's see. Yeah, only thing I'll say about this, in by the skin of my teeth here, man. We traded back down through Friday's close into these highs, man. The top end of these highs back here from October. There's a chance we catch a little bit of a bounce here, but having a stop loss right below the daily low is just such a trash place to have it. Like, I hate having a stop loss right above or below a high. That's why I like to have a nice wide stop loss with nothing down here, right? I just think this is such a trash place to have it. So we got some buyers trying to take this thing higher. You know, again, the problem here is, even if we start to form some structure, we're just very likely to come and take this out. You know, the opportunity, like, what do you do in this situation, right? What's the discretion that I could exercise? You know, I make mental notes as I trade, right? And, you know, here's one. I have an opportunity now to close this for half an L, right? For half risk, right? Had $1,000 on to start. You know, you got an opportunity to clip this at 500, 490, whatever we're trading at right now. Downside, right? Double-edged sword always. We come right back up, blast through, and I watch this thing turn into a nice back to VWAP trade, right? Upside, you realize half an L and move on with your day. I'm going to leave this one, as I usually do. I'm not going to find myself in another trade today. The only trade I would be in would be long, from any point down here. I don't find myself in another one on this account. There's opportunity to move up to the upside. Just because I don't like how close we got to a stop doesn't mean that I'm going to close it as soon as we start to bounce and move in my direction. I'm just going to accept either the full L or a W on this one, or some discretionary trade management later into the session. So we'll see. But again, I want to acknowledge that, right? When this happens, this is not good, right? You know, if you're going to, most people, even if you're going to trade from down here, you don't want to put your stop a couple points, a couple ticks away from the low. It's just so often swept before we take off. So we'll see. We'll see. Buyers trying it here. I mean, that looks healthy coming out of Bookmap. We got a little bit of volume behind that. If we zoom in, might be able to see a little bit on the candlestick chart down here by way of volume. Looking at the 1 minute. Nothing too crazy. Nothing too crazy. Could be our nice break and retest before we continue lower. We filled a little bit on these. Filled a little bit of volume on these. Let's see, chat. Let's see. I'm more of a fan, and again, this just comes down to reviewing your data. In general, I find when I clip trades as they get close to stop out, right before stop out, like whatever, it just doesn't often help me. When I close at break even, when I go stop loss to break even, it often doesn't help me, right? I'm better off, I find, waiting really patiently, which I do. Keep myself out of the market, which I do. I had multiple no trade sessions last week, right? And then once I wait patiently for my trade to put the damn trade on and fully accept that stop loss can be run, and try to manage the trade as it moves into profit, if it moves into profit. Put a nice wide stop loss, set your invalidation point. If you're wrong, you're wrong. It's an L. But there is a part of the review that comes to look at what happens to your losing trades. And this just comes from journaling, right? Or throwing executions on the chart and reviewing. Is there something you could do that 70, 80, 90% of the time is going to improve your P&L? Does it make sense to close if a trade gets close to your stop loss and then comes back halfway, right? Do most of those come back down and stop you out? Or do most of those continue into profit? You kind of want to adjust to that. So it comes from large sample sizes, reviewing over and over and over again for large sample sizes. So. But it's part of it, man. But talking about transparency, man, this is part of it. For me, at least. Again, I always grain of salt it. there are some really, really consistent traders. And I'm thinking of only a couple when I talk about this, but there are some hitters out there, guys, you know, like that are extremely consistent. They are also way longer in this game than me and probably you. They trade with very high risk, but they've been doing it for a really long time, and they're very consistent. Maybe it's negative risk to reward, you know, maybe it's whatever it is, but they have a very, very high win rate. And you don't see a lot of losing trades or losing days out of them. But even they take losing, you know, days and trades. But for the most part, man, this is what trading looks like. And I think I don't enjoy taking L's. In fact, I don't like them at all. It's not fun. I don't like losing. I hate losing, right? But if nothing else, when I have a L, right, a tough trade, something that just stops me out, like maybe today, maybe Thursday, I think it's important to display that for expectations, right? So you know that like on Friday when I got long and we ripped through ripped through the high and, you know, took me out for a $1,000, whatever it was, $1,000, $25, whatever it was, win. You grain of salt that. You can have reasonable expectations, right? To say, well, not every day is going to be just $1,000, $1,000, right? No, there's going to be losses in between here and there. Hopefully you make a little bit more when you're right, lose a little bit less when you're wrong, and or you win a little bit more than you lose by way of win rate. I'm trying this thing higher. But this is the reality, at least for me, man. So I'm here to share the journey. That's all I can do. Like I say all the time. Don't have it all figured out. I'm not the best. I still make mistakes. I have plenty of periods where I lose money, lose accounts, take L's, all that, all that type of stuff, man. But I'm going to show you what it looks like for me. Good, bad, everything in between. Or as much as I can here live, right? Because I do a whole lot off of the live sessions, and I talk about that as well. But I try to display my intraday trading on prop firms, on the U.S. indices, off the open here with you guys live on YouTube. Damn, we really are making a case for it on this one now, guys. I don't want to. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but that's some volume coming in for sure to the upside, all the way back to break even on this. Now I really gotta hold it. I still hate where my stop loss is. I absolutely hate where it is completely. I think this is a terrible spot. Very likely to get wicked out before we continue to the upside, but we are making the case that maybe we don't sell off completely today, that we come back up to VWAP, that we want to go back to these 700s. I'm going to hold on to it, right? Let's see what we get out of this one. Let's see what we get out of this one. I don't have an enormous amount of faith. That was a gnarly amount of selling pressure. We did not catch the bounce here, but we did catch the bounce right in here, man. Like right off this level of structure, right? We dipped into it quite a bit. Came back Friday's close. Last week Friday's close. 2 weeks ago, this is last week's Friday. Sorry, it's technically 2 weeks ago here, right, from October. We're gonna see, chat. We're gonna see what the market's got for me. Let's see. Nice green balls. yeah, nice green balls on Bookmap, man. This is ES. A lot of volume filling to the upside. But are we just going to grab liquidity before we come lower, right? Are we just going to go pop, we're going to go pop some short stops and then come lower? Again, I hate this spot for a stop loss. I really do. It's just such a trash spot to have it. But, that's how market structure forms after you're in the trade, right? You don't know what's going to happen. I effing hate having it right here because now easily likely, right? If it happens, it happens, right? Here's my entry, here's my stop loss. You don't know what's going to happen after here. You can use this market generated information to say this is a bad spot to have it, so I'm going to close on the first bounce back up, as quick as we can go, whatever, close to break even. But let's see. High volume node here. Can we crack through, come right back up? So far, we just wanted to test into it. Looks like we want to come back down. We got some volume to the downside here. We're going to see. Don't give up, Zach. YM just hit ATR low, and aggressive sellers might run out of steam. Watching 47 300s to hold. Yeah, they did run out of steam so far. Here we go. Sellers running out of steam. Yeah, decent call on that. And I mean, you know, maybe you were trading that, right? Maybe you're like, Zach's an idiot. He got in way too early. I was waiting for somewhere down here, and you know, this provided 160 points of, you know, upside movement, right? Maybe that was your play. We'd love to see Zach take a W here after holding that deep. Oh, it's happened, Rhombus. It's happened. Plenty of times. I got one. Let me see. I got the best one. Let me see if I can find it. I'll try to pull this picture up. I think I came within. It came within 1 tick or 2 ticks of a stop out. Held it. Said I'm trusting this stop. All the way back through break even and then through high of day. Now, is that super common to happen? No. You know, but if your approach calls for you to hold all the way to a stop loss, or you're using your discretion and, you know, that's your deal, then send it. Let me see if I can find this. Let me see if I can find this. I'll show you the example. I'll show you the example. It's not super common. It always feels really nice when it happens. You know, oh, here it is. Here it is. Holy shit. Oh, this was a good one. Yeah, this one was a banger. Oh no, hold on. How can I save this? Oh, man. There we go. Can you guys see this? Here's an example. You know, one of many, right? Just the same way that you're going to get some that come all the way down to almost stop you, right? This was a live trade too, guys. This was a live trade. You can look at the time. I took this trade live on a Friday. I remember it specifically because I was back in the hometown trading from the road. Made it to within 1 tick on ES of the stop loss. Held this bad boy and this one actually I got some hate on. Everybody, you know, a handful of people were like, "You're wrong. It tested VWAP. Why wouldn't you close at the break of this low?" This thing, if you go back, this thing ripped. It ripped through prior day high. It continued going. You know, so. This is not to say like I was so smart today, or I'm gonna be so smart today, or I'm not. You know, I'm you know, like, sorry. You know, it's just to say, back test, forward test, and then review as you're trading. Right? Journal your trades, review. What happens more often than not? Right? I'd say that's extremely uncommon, and more often than not, that's just going to be a stop out, right? This is just a fun one to look at because everybody loves when this happens. They hate when it comes right up to a take profit and then reverses and comes all the way back, which happens sometimes also, right? But review, right? As a trade moves against you, you know, based on your approach, your style, it's going to be different than me. What happens? Like, once you get halfway to a stop, do you often find that they all continue from 50% to 100% of your stop? Do you find that after some market-generated information, something on volume, something on bookmap, something on order flow, that you can identify that would allow you to clip a stop earlier? Use that, right? Clip your stop, you know, cut your winners short if you can, if you have something that makes sense. Or do you find that, like, oftentimes you have trades that, you know, your invalidation point is really clean, and you have trades come back up. Your entries are, you know, where they need to be. Your stops are where they need to be. You know, what do you find happens more often than not? This was just a fun one to look at, an example. So it won't be the first. Here we are back at break even, right? Maybe, on another day or you find that, hey, dude, if we get really close to a stop and we come back to break even, I'm better off, and could be you, I'm better off closing my trade. I'm better off just being out and saying, thanks, market, for getting me out at break even, right? A lot of traders do that when they're in profit and they come back to break even. They go stop loss to break even, right? Stop themselves out. It just comes from a large enough sample size. If you're discretionary with it, be discretionary with the way that I am and recognize that you're not going to be right every day, right? I'm going to allow myself discretion here to not close this trade right here. And I might say, hey, you know what? I don't close it today and it rips. Okay. But then tomorrow, the same thing happens. I don't close it and it comes down to stop me out. Right. You're not going to be right every day. That's the double-edged sword of discretionary trade management. It's harder to do. I would say it's arguably harder to apply consistency to, right? You're less consistent. You're more flexible with it. But this is a gnarly push back up. Talking about the markets. Again, I still hate where my stop loss is. I like the recovery. Climbing CVD across, all U.S. indices. Not a lot from ES. Looking not bad on YM. Decent pushes to the upside, man. Are we just going to go and tap prior day low here or get close and sell right back off? Definitely could do that. Are we going to pop right back to VWAP? Or all the way back up? Maybe. I will say, guys, for me, I'm gonna, like I said off the beginning, I was looking to manage this one pretty quickly if we got a reversal. I'm still looking to manage, but this is gonna be a hold from this area of high volume, right? This area consolidation back up here, back up to VWAP, back into the low end of this consolidation. I don't know that I would hold for a break of highs. I think that's much less likely to happen. But, somewhere into this middle ground of this entire daily candle so far near VWAP would generate, a nice W for me, right? Close to that $1,000 mark. A little bit above VWAP would be close to that $1,000 mark. But fully recognizing we could absolutely just be coming back here, right? Which is a nice key spot on the chart. And I think if we're going to turn, we turn from here. We come right back down. That's what we're looking at. Looking for a bounce. Just got a discount pricing, 4-hour swing range. Nice. ADO King. Yeah, you did, dude. You did. And I saw the timestamp on this one. Don't give up, Zach. ATR. That was when we were like down here. So very nice, dude. Good read. Very good read. Morning, gang. Work and keep me busy. I have no doubt you had it happen. Haven't been long enough to witness it for you. Happy brother. Oh, for sure. For sure. W. That's why I don't because yeah. Again, guys. For the most part. Like, you're gonna watch me do stuff, but I'm gonna talk also about like what I wish I did earlier. I think for the most part, when you're starting out, right? If you're working on coming off of demo, you're trying to grab some consistency, right? You're not turning a profit yet. You're still losing money, or you're just starting to break even. I think you want to focus on good entries, good risk management, and you want to be fixed. You want to say, this is my invalidation point. If price gets here, I don't want to be long or short anymore. I want the trade to close. That's the amount of risk that I want on. Here is my take profit. This is the area I believe price can reach. This is where I want to close the trade. I don't want to be long or short anymore. And you just leave that. And you should be putting those trades on and go to Walmart, right? The set and forget Walmart trade. As you get more experience and as you notice, hey, I have a trend here. A lot of my trades, just random example, go 75% to my take profit, and then they come back down and stop me all the way out. And if I just went stop loss to break even at 75% at a specific level, right? Every single trade, I would generate a more green P&L, right? I'd have less losses and more wins, or more break evens, and less losses. And you move from no trade management at all, like once the trade's on, fixed risk to reward, fixed stop, fixed take profit, just, stop it out. To trade management, but fixed trade management, extremely consistent, pre-planned. Every trade, the same thing happens, right? Scale out at 1-to-1, full close it at 2-to-1, stop loss to break even, something that is very consistent. Then, as you get better, right, as you go from there, you're gonna want to exercise. Most people do. You're gonna want to exercise more discretion, more intuition. You want to utilize your experience watching the market over and over and over again. and be less consistent, more flexible, and do more of what just makes sense based on market-generated information. But that's objectively harder to do because it's not pre-planned and because you have a P&L flashing in your face, okay? And because you're not going to be right every day. And you might do something wrong on Monday, wrong on Tuesday, wrong on Wednesday. And when that happens and it's at your hand, it's difficult. It's very difficult when you are being very, very consistent and objective, right? And applying less discretion, at least with trade management. When it fails, at least there's some consistency to it, right? And you're able to track that and say, okay, I got to make a change or an improvement over a large sample size. So, I would write it in. I would write it into your approach, write it into your strategy. Where are you going to allow for discretion? Where are you going to be really consistent? That's my 2 cents. But starting out, I wish I was completely fixed. And then I wish I slowly went to a fixed trade management approach, and then eventually to completely discretionary or more discretionary, because I still, to myself, I try to apply some consistency here. You see me do the same shit day in and day out, whether it works or it doesn't work. You typically see me trade the same way and take the same wins and take the same losses, or similar, at least similar. So, anyway, all the way back up into profit here. $250. We are testing prior day low. It's a dangerous spot, guys. Dangerous spot. If we're going to reject anywhere, this is the spot where we could reject back down. If not, VWAP is the next line on the chart. I'm going to look to take profit up there if we can go and reach it. Let's see what Marcus got for me, man. Let's see what Marcus got for me. Let's see what the Marcus got for me today, chat. Someone calling out Long YM. Made it to kick. Mike Z, what's up? What a wild ride on this one, huh? Yeah, wild ride. Wild ride for sure. Wild ride for sure. Again, man, this could turn on the... Just always, you always got to accept these things. I accept them when I put on. I try to always make the case for this could turn right here, guys, right? Very key spot. We're testing prior day low. If we're going to continue lower, this would be a clean break and retest to the downside. Trump could say China tariffs at any point, and we could sell off 500 points. We come right back down. By not closing here, by leaving my stop loss where it is, I'm accepting that risk plus slippage potentially, right? When you take profit, you're doing the opposite. You're realizing your profit, you're taking opportunity and risk off the table. You always want to be thinking in those terms. Damn, man, my analysis was good, but I missed the shorts and missed the longs. Not my day. All good. We come back tomorrow. Yeah, all good. Stay in cash with the position. Yep. Higher time frame says one thing. Lower time frame says another today. Long NQ. Dre was long NQ. Nice. Let's see. Let's see what we get. Rhombus says China minus 794 points. Yeah. It's geopolitics, right? It's geopolitics, right? I don't talk about politics on my channel at all, in the sense of just talking about politics. I think this is a trading channel and a trading Discord. There's plenty of political conversation on the internet. When I talk about a president or politics or a country, I'm talking about what is going to potentially make or lose money in the market, or cause volatility in the market, or cause price to do one thing or another. That's the only way that I discuss it. I want to be really clear about that. I saw one of the guys in my circle he was talking about Trump in some type of way, and he got mad comments, and he was like, I don't care about politics at all, unless it relates to trading. And that's the way that I'm talking about, these geopolitical situations. So I think it's important to note that, though. And I would encourage you, please, to do the same. It's actually something that's in the rules in my Discord. No political conversation. No space for that. Or religion, or anything that's even really way out of the realm of trading. If it ties back to trading somehow, more than happy to talk about it. Obviously, this year we're in a headline market. The U.S. administration is discussing a lot of different policies, right? World policies that are drastically affecting how the U.S. indices are moving, which we're trading right here. So that's the tie-in, right? That's the correlation to discuss it here. Anyway, coming back up, let's see if we just completely reject off of prior day low, rip through this IB low and sell off, or we go back up and give me VWAP. 200 points in profit. 200 points in profit. Yeah, Mohammed, we see the emojis. We see the emojis. Just reading a couple messages here, guys. Yeah, man, this looks like the crazy frustrating sell-off for a big push back up. I don't know, man. I'm hanging on to this one. Again, key spot where we could start to reject down here for sure. I want to hang on to this one back towards VWAP. Again, I'm not going to make this a huge winner. It certainly could be. I'm not looking for an insane movement out of this. I really would like to see it go right to VWAP here to look to grab some quick profit on it. But it's a trade that I had to withstand a lot of drawdown on. So obviously there's review to be done for entry, being more aggressive. The stop loss placement was good to at least allow the thing room to breathe to come back up. Do we come up here and just reject? This is a key spot. If we're going to come lower, here's our spot to potentially do that. I think we could see one more stupid aggressive pop. That's my really technical term, right through VWAP, or at least a tap of VWAP here before a turn back down. And that's where I'd like to grab profit. If we just come back up here, it's going to suck, but, I'm probably going to have to realize a full L on this one. I think if I go stop loss to break even, I'm incredibly likely to be taken out, and I would rather just close the trade completely. I'm hanging on to this one, man. We had bulls step in super aggressively off this low. It could just be the wild manipulative move that the market also often pulls, where we are going to move lower, but we're not going to do it without taking everybody out short by trading, 250 points off the low to make sure that everyone is now stopped out, pick up all the liquidity, and, reload for a move lower. Just to make the case for both sides here. I'm sure there's plenty of shorts getting involved here looking for this break of low. But for now, I'm going to hold on to this one, guys. Going to hold on to this one. Teaching us all patience here. It's great. Hope it isn't trailing drawdown. I love top one for that. No intraday trailing drawdown on top one. Nope. Excuse me, on the account that I'm trading. First off, this is a live account, so I have no consistency rule. I have daily payouts. I got a whole bunch of other benefits in the top one futures pre-live account. But in the instant funded account, which I will link right here, haven't yapped about top one really at all today. But top one futures is my preferred prop firm. I am partnered. I'm affiliated. Do your own research. Make your own trading decisions. I'm biased. But if you want to check it out, the instant funded accounts and the Ignite accounts have an end of day trailing drawdown, the standard industry wide end of day trailing drawdown. The straight to sim funded pro are the only ones with an intraday trailing drawdown, which is difficult to work with. Definitely difficult to work with. But if you want to check it out, link is right there. Code RDF gets you 55% off. And the Ignite accounts, they still haven't running this week. They talked about killing them on Monday, but they're still up, man. So if you want a shot at the cheapest instant funded accounts industry-wide, the lowest cost, these are them. They have different rules, although they do have no ESS. consistency rule, standard, and no minimum trading days. So they improved the rule set on these. You can copy trade up to 6. If you want the higher priced account with the best rule set, in my humble opinion, instant funded. Instant funded. So anyway, guys, on this note, I don't really want to clip this one because I'm getting close to it. I really don't want to end the live, but I'm getting close to the time they got to hop off. Can we go and get a test of VWAP here? Can we go and get a test of VWAP, please? Yeah, it might be a little bit too long. Yeah, guys, listen, nice hold, back into profit. I'll try to keep you guys updated, but I got something coming up right after this, so I do have to clip the live. Coming on 2 hours onto the live right now. Nice to see a potential loser turn into a potential winner. Trade's still on. We don't know what's going to happen yet, but looking for a move back towards VWAP. At least one more pop to the upside. Like I said, unless we turn on a dime, I'm going to try to find my way out for a winner here, but I'm going to hold on to this for a little bit longer. See what we can do. Appreciate you guys hopping on. If you guys don't know, I'm here live every dang day. 9:15. What the hell? Got your eyelash in my eye? 9:15 a.m. Eastern. No VIP, no course, no mentorship, no paid, nothing. I yap about prop firms that I'm partnered and affiliated with, like Top 1 Futures. You can use code RDF if you want to check that one out. Get the best deal. Support me. Support the channel. Support yourself. If you just want to hop into one of the best trading discords that's 100% free, in my humble biased opinion, it's mine. It's pinned to the top of the chat. We'd be more than happy to have you in there. Guys, remember, I'm not a financial advisor. I don't provide financial advice. Nothing I say or do is suggestion or recommendation to do anything at all. Make sure you do your own research. Make your own trading decisions. Read CFTC Rule 4.41 on simulated trading, which is what this is, even in funded prop firm accounts. And the affiliate and partnership disclaimer that says I stand to make money from links and codes in my content, like Top 1 Futures, code RDF, Bookmap, and others. Appreciate you guys hopping on here. Appreciate you being on the live. Thank you for being here. The numbers are growing. We didn't do a giveaway today. I know we didn't do a giveaway today. Don't kill me. Don't hang me at the stake. Don't burn me at the stake just yet. Tune in tomorrow. I got a good feeling that we'll see one tomorrow. Talk to you guys tomorrow. Talk to you guys in Discord, 9:15 a.m. right here. Smash like, smash subscribe if you enjoyed it. You'll get alerts if you subscribe as well to the live sessions. Talk to you guys soon.